Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Ork Boyz units from the Ork Codex. Before we begin, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please grab your chopper and destroy the subscribe button and absolutely wreck the bell button so that you never miss an upload. So, it has been a little while since we've had a little look at the Ork Codex on here. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the boys. This is the main one we're going to be looking at. I will do probably a how to win with them, but this is more of a rules review. So Ork Boyz are pretty much the standard unit which we're going to be using for our army. It's a sensible choice most of the time. You have a pretty standard orc movement of 5 inches, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership of 6, and a save of 6+. One thing that they removed was in 8th edition was the ability to have the Ard armor, which gave you a 4-up save, so you could pretty much have a decent save, and I did like it, but I see why they've done it. They're basically trying to get us to go away from having nearly power armored models, so having the weaker models with you know what I mean, a lower model with a lower save. That's fine. Anyway, so Ork Boyz. This unit contains 10 Ork Boyz. It can include up to 10. See you later, Edic. You can include up to 10 for a power rating of 3, or up to 20 additional boys for a power rating of +7, which would take it to 11 for 30 boys. A boss nob can take the place of 1 Ork Boy. Each model is armed with a slugger, chopper, and stick bombs. So it also says any boy can replace their chopper and slugger with a shooter. For every 10 in a unit, 1 Ork Boy may take a tank buster bombs. This is a bit of a change from previous editions. For every 10 models in the unit, 1 Ork Boy can replace its chopper and slugger with a rocket launcher or big shooter. The boss nob may replace its slugger and chopper with items from the nob weapons list. So we'll have a quick look at that so we can see what you can take. Where are we hiding? Too far? Nope, not far enough. There we go, Wargamernick. So the nob weapons list, it says up to 2 from the following list: big chopper, kill saw, power claw, power stabber, and slugger. So you could go for the basic slugger and chopper, but why would you swap a slugger and chopper for a slugger chopper? The standard maneuver is the slugger and power claw. However, kill saw is pretty decent, big chopper's okay, power stabber, I can't remember what that's exactly like, but I feel like it's a slightly different power claw. One weapon could be chosen for the following list: combi weapon with rocket launcher, combi weapon with a scorcher. It says can it be taken with a nob, a warbike, or boss nob on warbike. That's not what we're talking about today, because we're looking at the boys today. Page 92. Yep, there we go. So the thing that's a bit of a change is the tank buster bomb, which means that if you get in close, you can throw a tank buster grenade at anything that you wish. To be honest, it says for every 10, so you could have a possibility of having 3 tank buster bombs lobbing at anything that you want. And because of the Daka special rule, which they have right here, you can, on a 6 you get an additional hit. So it's a cheeky way of getting 3 of them and maybe 3 rocket launchers in before you pile in an attack. So it's pretty decent. In fact, it could possibly do more damage than a rocket launcher. However, it's likely that it will do 3, maybe on average. Ooh, yeah, you know statistics work. Other rules they've got is the Here We Go and the Mob rule. Green Tide add +1 to the attack's characteristics of all models in this unit when it contains 20 or more. So if you have shooter boys, sorry about that. I should mention that most slugger chopper boys will eventually end up with 3 attacks because they have one additional attack with this weapon. So they have 3 or 4 for a knob, and if there's 20 or more, it would be it would change from, good golly gosh, yeah, it would change from 3 to a 4 on the boys and a 5 on the knobs, and there's ways to increase that as well. But basically, if you've got 20 or more models, they can have +1 attack. Now, obviously, you'd have to get them all in at that thingy, so you'd have to maybe go in against a bigger unit and spread your boys out, because you can only fight effectively within 2 inches. It says within an inch, and any model within an inch that's next to a model, basically. That's the gist of the rules. The Daka, yeah, so you could have Ork Boyz with shooters. If you've got 20 or more, they can hit like a standard slugger chopper boys unit, plus they can shoot with their shooter, which is 18 inches, assault 2, strength 4. I like that they always fire 2 shots. I mean, it's obviously not as good a range as the not as good of a range as a bolter, to be honest, and with the change in bolter rules, the bolter's obviously going to be better. But for Ork Boyz, you could have you could have a unit of 30 taking 60 shots, and 10 of them shots at least will get an additional shot from that, which you'll be able to roll to hit, unless you're using the bad moons, and then they can oh no, you can use a stratagem that helps. Sorry, we shouldn't be doing this because this is not really but anyway, we'll mention it. Might mention it in another video as well. You can use the stratagem, which allows you to have the Daka roll on a 5-up. So in fact, from 60 shots, an additional 20 of them should create hits and additional hits. And you can use the showing off, I think it's called, from the bad moons, and it means they fire again, so you could have exponential amounts of shots from 30 boys. The one thing I did want to talk about, we'll go back to mob rule and Daka etc. later, is the points cost. Now, unless that's changed again since you've watched this, possibly through the chapter approves and stuff, the Ork Boyz in the troop section have gone to 7 points. They used to be, if I remember rightly, they used to be 6 points. So now they're 7 points. So I think it's possibly to pay for the clan cultures. However, you don't pay for the clan chapter tactics for Space Marines and the likes. Where's a shooter? So slugger's no points, a shooter's no points, and I believe a chopper is going to be no points too. No points, yeah. So your basic boy is going to be 7 points, which is very adequate. Very adequate. How would I? So I've pretty much given you the fact that my favourite is the bad moons, and I prefer shooting armies, even though it seems a bit counterintuitive with orcs. So one thing you can do, where are we? Where are we? Bad moons, answer T. You can reroll hit rolls of 1. So the thing that I've already mentioned with all them tactics, with the stratagems, you can reroll hit rolls of 1. So you can possibly gain more and more and more shots from a 30-man squad. It can put out a lot more shots than a Space Marine, but they're not going to hit as much. Conversely, the more dice you've got, the more chance you have of actually hitting. You could have a 10-man squad of tactical squad. They'll fire 20 shots, and likelihood is they're going to hit with most of them. But you could possibly get, with the tactics, the stratagems that I've already mentioned, you could possibly, not likely, you could possibly get like 120 shots or something out of a 30-man Ork Boy squad. So it's something to consider. It's not likely to happen unless you are godlike with dice. You're probably not going to get all of them. However, you're going to get a lot more with the rerolls to 1. That's the way I like them. However, Slugger Chopper Boys, you're probably better with the Goths. So every time you roll a 6, much like the Daka, it's actually going to add an additional attack. So if you've got, well, I can't even do maths right now, but like 150, 180 shot attacks, you can get extra attacks, and it's just an insane, it's a sick amount of attacks. But these are actually going to hit on a 3+, unless you buff them further. Boys are insane. They are pretty good for roughly half the price of a standard tactical marine. If they're still around at the time of this video, you can do a lot more from them, but you have to actually get them in. It's the old adage. So there's other ways you can do it. You could give them an invulnerable save on a 6-up, which Snakebites, you can give them a 6-up feel no pain, which is good. So it'll give you a 6-up, 6-up. You could make them move faster. You could give them a 6-up invulnerable save. So there's a lot of things you can do. Add 1 to hit rolls. There's clan culture. If any destroyed a unit with the clan culture, destroyed enemy unit thingy. So yeah, but I still think bad ones are better at shooting than they are with freebooters. However, kind of going off on a bit of a tangent here, we'll have a little look at the stratagems. Obvious one is mob up. If one unit has 10 models and the other one has 10 fewer models, then they can merge. Yeah, basically you can mob them up if you've got 10 or more, 10 or less. Extra gubbins, we're going to look at that, get stuck in. Fight phase, unit infantry can fight again, so that can make them exceptionally more powerful. You could play the, what's it called? The snake bites, which mean you'd benefit from cover, and you could then give them the Ork Boyz stratagem, which would basically give them a 5-up save, and they'd have a basic 4-up save more than 18 inches away from any enemy models, which would mean that in cover you would have a 3-up save instead, although does it actually? So the issue is going to be, you'd get +1 to your save for being in cover, you'd have +1 for this one, so you'd be on a 4-up save. So you wouldn't get the double save because you, sorry, I'm kind of thinking this out as I'm reading it. You wouldn't get the double save because it says you have the benefit of being in cover even if you're not. So you can only get a 4-up save, which is pretty decent anyway, if you wanted to go with the blood axes. We was meant to be looking at stratagems, not changing our tune. Basically, it's one way to make your boys better. Extra stick bombs, that's another one. You can throw 10 grenade weapons in that 10. Up to 10 models may fire a grenade weapon. So again, you could fire all 3 of your tank buster grenades instead of just the 1, and 7 other normal grenades, which could get 6 6s to hit, could get another one, and you could fire them twice. Can you use both of them at the same time? Start your shooting phase up to 10 models. Yes, you could do that. So you could do that one plus the Mort Daka. No, it isn't that one. It's the showing off. It's on here. Yeah. Bad moons can shoot again. So you could do that. Grot shields, that goes without saying. Blah blah blah. Nope. So again, this is a good one. Use stratagem at the end of your movement phase, using a unit of boys, this is specific to boys, for your army list that is half its starting number of models. Remove it from the battlefield. You can set it up wholly within 6 inches of the battlefield edge, and more than 9 inches away from any models. Start at its full strength. You cannot select a unit for this stratagem that has been merged via mob up. You can only use stratagem once per battle. So if you've got a 30-man blob that's ran up the board and got shot to pieces, but it's still got some guys left in it, you can bring on another 30-man blob right close to them. If anything, you could goad your enemy into targeting them. Hopefully, as long as they don't die completely, you'll basically be getting a free full squad. Basically, because they're being a bit mean. If I'm honest, you know, the boys haven't really done anything. If you are a Goth clan, if you've got the Goth clan, you can basically give them a unit as a strength change to 5, which is really decent, which is going to make you wound on 3s instead of 4s against Space Marines and the likes, and it's going to make your, let's have a look. Yep, basically strength characteristics change to 5. So basically they're all going to be hitting like knobs, even though they are boys, which is pretty good. And I think we're going to call it there. There's other tactics you could use, much like the, is it Warpath? Yeah, Warpath increases the attack characteristic by 1, which is going to make them fight exceptionally more hard. And you could combine that multiply with the Scar Boys we just looked at, and the fighting again 1. Where is it? Get stuck in, lads. And you could just wipe a unit off the board pretty much. Even big units, you're likely to do a bit of damage to them. I think we're going to call it there. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should look at the points just real quick, because I think, unless again they've changed it recently, a power core used to be 25 points if I remember rightly, or at least 20 something points, and I think on here it's going to come up at 13 points. Power, that's shooty guns, 13 points, which is pretty darn good. Power stab is 3 points. You can take combi scorches on your knobs. This is combi scorcher, combi rocket launcher, 12 points, so you can still do a decent amount of damage. Big chopper, where is he hiding? He is 5 points, which is good. Is it going to show us the stat lines for any of these weapons on this? Anywhere? Come on. Power stabber is what we're meant to be looking at. Power stabber is user, so it's going to be strength 5 for a knob and -2, so it's okay, but it's a massively reduced strength. Whereas power claw is going to be strength 10, -3 AP, D3 damage. You must subtract 1, so you're going to be hitting on 4s instead of 3s. So it's an acceptable loss, I think. Big chopper, +2 to strength, -1 AP and 2 damage. So that's decent at the 5 points that you're going to be paying. I could go into this into more detail, but I think I've done a decent enough job. We're not meant to be looking at the rest of these just yet. Go back to page 92 so we can zoom out on the boys thingy. You can possibly take a screenshot if you wish of the boys stat lines if you're interested in having them. So 3, 2, 1, boom. Tell me what you think. How do you load your boys out? What's the best way? Do you like them now? Do you hate them? Would you take grots over boys? Let me know. And if I've made any mistakes, which I likely will have, please put them in the comments down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching.